All right, friends, we're starting out laying down. So take your time fidgeting and relaxing yourself into place. You can have your legs straight. I like a little bend in my knees when I first lay down, so experiment with that. Start to breathe more deeply into your chest and your belly and make that big, big breath happen. Okay, give yourself plenty of time to settle in. There's no rush. We have all the time in the world here. Find your inhales spreading open extra space in your chest and your back and even your Buddha belly as it puffs open and out. And with your exhales, allow your whole torso, your rib cage, your belly compressing inward. Squeeze out all that air. And how often do you really clean out all the stale air in your lungs? It feels right. Clean them out. Bring in new, fresh air. And draw out the breath here and make it longer. And through your nose as much as you can. And while you're at it, breathing through your nose, cultivate a nice flare in your nostrils. And I find smiling here really helps me breathe deeply into the nose. Allows the sinuses to open up a little more. And allow your jaw to begin to soften here. So one of our goals today is something that we can work on while we're laying down. As you allow the bottom jaw to soften away from your top jaw, feel your tongue slide down your throat. Just start to notice any tension around your throat, all the tissues that wrap around your head and your face and your jaw and your ears and your shoulders. And we'll play around with some face yoga here. Okay, we're going to stretch out your jaw just while you're laying down. So open your mouth nice and wide. Like you're at the dentist, okay? And we're just going to breathe here. And then even though your mouth is open wide, do your best not to breathe through your mouth. Try to breathe through your nose, even though your mouth is open, okay? And keep that mouth open nice and wide. We're going to give it some time. So this is a great jaw stretch. It's pretty to the point. One of the things that I find really helps me out with jaw tension is holding this for a few minutes. Okay, you can do this anytime you're laying down. You can do it before bed. You can do it in the morning. You can do it when you're driving, when you're working at your desk. Just open your mouth up nice and wide and just think of pulling your lips back away from your teeth, like you're trying to take a bite out of the biggest apple and you can't figure out how to really get your mouth on there. And keep peeling your lips back away from your teeth. Keep breathing through your nose. And we'll take a few more breaths like this. Okay, you can hold this jaw stretch as long as you like. And the longer the better. You can't really overdo it. Feel that lower jaw just moving away from your skull. And keep that big breath moving in your belly as you stretch out your jaw for a few more breaths. Maybe one more breath here. Big, wide open shark mouth. And then let's release that, okay? Notice if it feels any different. And we'll play around with some more face yoga in a little bit. But for now, let's start moving this body around. So let's start off with some windshield wipers. Okay, walk your feet up by your hips. Knees are bent, of course, pointed up. And then shimmy your feet out away from each other. I find windshield wipers are very well paired with cactus arms. So let's make cactus arms on the floor. Scoot your shoulder blades under your heart. And we'll start to drop the knees side to side. Okay, it doesn't have to be super strong. It can be just kind of passive and just easy. Okay, once the hips warm up a little bit, I like to activate this movement a little bit more by drawing the knees downward. Okay, we're wrapping a bigger stretch along the outer hip and then the inner hip on each side. So play around with how you want it to feel. The more you draw the knees downward, the more opening, okay, the more you can get into it. Notice the low back waking up. So this is a great low back massage right here. And then go ahead and pick your knees up. So bring back at center and then just pause. Pick your feet up and then glue your legs together. And we can keep them at about a right angle. And then ground into your shoulder blades. So make sure your upper body is nice and grounded. And then we'll drop the legs side to side. Okay, and just hover them. Make sure they just hover. They don't come all the way down. So you have to hold them up a little bit. And as we kind of build a little rhythm here, start to look away from your legs as you drop them. And then bring them back into center. And look the other way. So hopefully you feel this really nice massage, this twist running up and down your spine. Keep your nice big breath going. And then let's bring the legs back in through center. And just pause here, okay? Grab one knee in each hand and then give your legs a really good squeeze, like you could pull your knees towards your heart. Okay, and notice your low back smooshing on the floor when you do this. And let's give the low back a nice roll around on the floor. Side to side, all around. Okay, then go ahead and drop your feet next to your hips. Drop your hands next to your hips. Okay, we'll get into some bridges. So we'll start to, first, before we even get up off the floor, first we'll make sure we're stabilized and we're in control. So make sure you have that imaginary tennis ball. Okay, put an imaginary tennis ball between your knees and hold on to it. Okay, so notice the knees moving inward toward each other. Okay, you feeling your inner thighs engaging, your core engaging, and try to hold that tennis ball as we begin to move. Okay, point your nose directly up at the ceiling and see if you could keep it that way too as we start to move. And with your inhale, peel first your tailbone up. Find one vertebra at a time, following your tailbone up until your hips are as high as you like. And then as you exhale, roll one vertebra down at a time. The last one to untuck is your tailbone. And let's see if we could just do this a few more times. Roll it up, inhale. Roll it down, exhale. Keep it going. So do your best to keep that nose pointing up, and that's going to keep your neck nice and neutral. Let's keep it off the floor is what we want. And keep your tennis ball between your knees. So this is a nice gentle inversion. We're getting the hips and the heart above your head. Just slightly, just enough. So let's play with this. Next time you come up, just pause there and think of pushing into the floor with your feet, pulling those knees together. Think of pushing down with the back of your head. Okay, keep the nose pointed up. And then you have the option here to just hang here. Some of us are going to want to join our fingers, interlacing fingers underneath the hips. And you can kind of scoot your shoulder blades under your hips while you do that, under your heart. Shoulder blades can kind of waggle underneath your rib cage. And then you can use your arms even to press against the floor. And you're thinking of opening your whole front body up to the ceiling here. Let's breathe a little bit longer. And bridge pose. Find extra space in the front of your chest. See if you could lift the rib cage a little more for one more breath. And then let's let it go. Release your hands slowly and then roll your spine down slowly. No rush. One vertebra at a time. Okay, when your hips land, let's rock and roll it a little bit. So we just warmed up your back. Let's give it a good massage. Tuck your hands behind your knees and let's rock it and roll it up and back. So let's take this a few more times. Rock it up and roll it down. Rock it up. Roll it down. So you can use your toes to keep your balance. If you need to, you can tap your toes down in front of you, okay? Rock it down. Maybe 3 more times, just like that. See if you could balance to the best of your ability. Sometimes even just one fingertip on the floor makes a big difference. 2 more. Last one. Nice. So let's see if we could balance here in a boat pose, okay? Long spine. You're thinking of reaching the crown of your head away from your tailbone and tucking your tailbone just slightly and pointing it at your toes. Just a little bit of a tuck. Think of pulling that belly button in. And remember, you can drop your feet and your hands at any time. No problem. So if boat is feeling pretty good and you're feeling confident, you want to spice it up a little bit, you can reach one hand for your feet. So letting go of your knees. Okay, experiment with reaching the other hand for your feet. Keep that long spine and that long neck. Okay, another spicy option is extending one knee And then super spice, we can extend both knees. So kind of find where you are. Wherever you are is great, as long as it feels good. We're taking one more big breath in here. And exhale, come down slowly. Drop your feet. All right, turn your knees out to one side, and I'll meet you in a hands and knees position. All right, friends, we'll get the right leg out behind here. Rocking some extra weight into that right hand, okay? We'll get the left arm forward. So here we are in a bird dog posture. Try this. Try rocking that right hip under. So you're really tucking that right hip down, making sure it's level with the left. Okay, it's going to tend to want to come up. Remember, if it's too much, you can always put the left hand down. There's no problem there, okay? So we'll get a little bit warmer. Inhaling, reach out long through that lifted arm and leg. As you exhale, pull the pull the right knee in to the left elbow. See if you could bring your nose in there and touch them all together. Inhale to reach out long. We're going to do a funky airplane this time. So exhale, the right knee out to the right. You're going to float it out there on the side. The left elbow out to the left. Okay, funky airplane. Inhale back to center. And exhale, again, knee, elbow, and nose. See if you can touch them. Inhale back up. And exhale to a funky airplane. Right knee to the right, left elbow to the left. Okay, again, inhale back to center. And exhale, do that little crunch movement. Left elbow to right knee. Get the nose in there. Inhale back to center. And exhale, funky airplane. Now hold and breathe right here. You can keep the arm and the knee bent if you want. We're just going to breathe and see how long we can hold this, okay? If you want more challenge, you can extend the arm and the leg. Feel your back body warming up, your front body. You can always put them down and take a break. Let's do one more big breath in here. And exhale, bring it down to hands and knees. Tuck your toes here. Let's bring it up and back to a downward facing dog and walk it out. Walk out your heels. Shake your head. Okay, from here, come up on your tippy toes and tiptoe to your hands. Let's take a nice fold here. Just shake it out. You might sway and let your upper body hang here for a little while. Find some long, slow breaths. Hang in your head, shaking out any tension in your neck. Okay, rock your weight forward into your toes and back into your heels a few times. And find that perfect happy medium where the weight is balanced in the exact center of your foot, and then suck up your arches just a millimeter. And we're going to roll up. Okay, nice and slow. As you inhale, push into your heels. Stack your bones up until you're back up at standing. Okay, reach that big heart up high. And here comes a side bend. On your exhale, just reach your hands out to one side. Think of reaching rather than leaning. And inhale back to center. Let's do the other side. Exhale, hands reach. Inhale back to center. This time, as you exhale, draw your elbows down like cactus arms. Use your shoulder blades to pick up your heart. Inhale back up to center, long arms up. And exhale here, hinging at your hips. Fold it all the way down. Your palms come down here. Let's come halfway up on the inhale. Unroll your spine, look forward. And exhale, make a very big fold. Bend your knees if you need to. Hug those legs. right, palms are down. From here, inhale, step yourself back to a plank. Remember, you can always put your knees down in a plank. And with your exhale, back into a down dog. Okay, walk it out one more time. And then we'll bring it back down to hands and knees. I'll meet you here. Okay, let's do the left side. We'll do the other side. So now let's get the left leg out behind. Okay, rock that left hip under so it's level with the right. And we'll get the right arm forward. Remember to keep your strong belly button moving into your spine. Okay, keeping your low back safe. Here we go. Inhaling to be really long and strong here with that lifted arm and leg. Exhaling, pull the right elbow and the left knee and your nose all into the same place, or close as you can get. Inhale to reach out long. Exhale, funky airplane. So right elbow to the right, left knee to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, do that little crunch shape. Pull the right knee, right elbow, left knee. Inhale back up. Again, exhale, funky airplane. Inhale to bring it up. Again, exhale, crunch it in. Inhale, bring it up. Last time, funky airplane and hold. So we just want to get your back body warm here. We're building a little bit of warmth. So you can take it easy. You can even drop your hand. You can even drop your knee. But if you want a little spice, extend the left leg, extend the right arm. Push that floor down and breathe. Nice breath. One more big breath in here. And let it go. Back down to hands and knees. Tuck your toes here. We're coming back up to a downward facing dog. Just a really casual down dog. Shake it out. Shake it off. And then again, come up on your tippy toes and tiptoe your hands to your feet. Sorry, you can't tiptoe your hands. Tiptoe your feet to your hands. All right, so here you are. You're back in a fold. Sway around a little bit. Sway side to side. See if you can rock the weight forward and back on your feet. And then center your weight on the very center of each foot. And here we go. We're going to inhale to roll it up. Reach up tall. Here comes another side bend. Okay, exhale to one side. Inhale back up. Other side. Inhale and bring it up. Okay, here comes the cactus. Exhale, draw your shoulder blades down your back. Down, 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 down. Inhale, bring it up. And exhale, fold it, hinging your hips. Come halfway up for your inhale. And make a big fold on your exhale. Right, your palms are down here. Stepping it back to a plank or a plank variation on your inhale. Maybe your knees are down. And exhale to another downward facing dog. So here we are. And walk out your heels. Shake your head again. Hopefully feeling a little bit more open in the backs of your legs now. So a little bit easier to draw those heels downward. But remember, the heels don't necessarily need to go down. That's not necessary. It's just one of your goals. You're prioritizing a downward movement in the heels. See if you could pair that with a lift of the kneecaps and notice how that helps, if it does. And maybe pull the elbows inward as well. One more big breath in here. And we'll start to move around a little bit from here. So inhaling, let's get that right leg up and out behind. Just think of sending it up high as you like. Get that right hip to stay level with the left. And with your exhale, send the right knee forward. Plant the right foot between your hands. Go ahead and drop the back knee. That's the left knee. Okay. Inhaling here, come on up to your low lunge. Okay. And let's take a little time in this low lunge. I want to get a nice stable base and a strong lunge before we really go on. So low lunges are great because you can make them as spicy or as mild as you need at the moment. If you need a break, you can always rest your hands on your right knee. You can even just put your hands on the floor and have your upper body supported in this low lunge. And that can be a really gentle option if you need one. However, okay, if you're feeling spicy, you can get your arms up overhead. But no matter where you are, I do want you to resist the floor a little bit. So it does not have to be a whole lot. Okay, it can be 5 to 10% of your strength. And as a matter of fact, it's better if it's more subtle than if you're just kind of cranking it. So subtly press the floor down and try to draw your legs toward each other. So you're cultivating a lot of strength in your lower body, but it doesn't have to be all of your strength, okay? It can just be a percentage. So press down, pull together. We want to pull the belly button into the spine. And from there, we're going to twist. So open your arms out wide and look out to the right, like you wanted to give someone a hug on the right side of your mat. Okay, let's open up in a few more breaths. So reaching back through the right hand, reaching forward through the left, expand your wingspan. Keep the legs active. You're pressing into your feet. You're trying to drag the legs together. You could stay right here. You could even just rest your hands down. If you like, you can take that right hand and start to look for your left leg. Just find it, okay? Keep the legs active. Don't let them fall asleep. So you can even tuck your right hand more to the outer edge of your left leg if you like. I like to grab myself kind of behind my knee, okay? It makes a nice grip. And then you can keep this as a very twisty twist, looking over your right shoulder. Continue to breathe. Continue to activate your legs. If you like, however, you can start to look up at your left hand. And you can even reach the left hand further back if you like. So making this more of a back bend, more of a heart opener. So really kind of up to you what you cultivate here. So many options. All we know is we're going to take a few more breaths here, pressing the legs into the floor. Making big space in your heart and your chest and your shoulders. Maybe one more big breath in. And as you let this go ahead and drop that left hand under your shoulders. Drop the right hand under your shoulder. We're going to move the hips back here. Pull them back. Point the right toes up at the ceiling with a really strong flex in your right foot. And start to roll around, pointing the toes to the right. Point the toes to the left. To the right. And just get a little bit of a windshield wiper movement going with your right toes. Okay, you can come up on your fingertips if you like, if that helps you keep a longer spine. So rolling side to side. And then pause when we're pointed up with these right toes. We're going to dig down in the right heel, start to drag back on that right hip. Okay, the bigger flex we can put in this ankle, the better. And we're just going to breathe some extra space into the back of the right leg here. So take a few more breaths. Try that same trick that we tried in down dog, engaging your quadriceps of the right leg. So try to move the right kneecap up towards your hip and notice that gives you more space on the back of the leg. All right, friends, as you're ready, put some weight back into that right foot, hands back on the floor. Tuck the back toes. We're going to lift the back knee, and let's bring it up and back to a 3-leg dog. So inhaling here, send that right leg up in the air. And a little bend in that right knee, okay? See if you can really pull pull the left hip toward the back of the mat as you point that right toe over yourself over to the left. So pausing here in a scorpion posture. If you need to drop the left knee, you can do this from your left knee on the floor. So keep your options open. Okay, in your scorpion, have you noticed that your right shoulder tends to want to lift up and follow your hip? No problem. Drop that right shoulder down level with the left. So you really want to keep things level in your shoulders, okay? Continue to pull back on that left hip and breathe. Spreading open, peeling open that right hip. Maybe one more big breath here in your scorpion pose, yogis. And exhale, we're going to let it go. Go ahead and drop the right foot next to the left. And we'll take a nice, easy little vinyasa break here. So if you'd rather skip the vinyasa and just take a little child's pose break, please do it. Here we go. Inhaling here, find a plank. You can use your knees. Exhaling, you can hop it or you can step it to your hands. You decide and fold. Roll it up on your inhale. Lift that heart. Exhale down into that chair squat. Drop your tailbone. So Utkatasana. Pull your knees together. Look up. See if you can drop nice and low. Inhale up to stand. And exhale, fold. Halfway up on your inhale, just looking forward. And a big fold on your exhale. Okay, palms are down here. Inhaling, you can hop it or step it back to your plank. Yogi's choice. Okay, exhale to lower yourself down. See if you could take some time doing that. Elbows in. Cobra on your inhale. Pull back on your hands. Lift your heart and point your tailbone down. So long heart up. And exhale. Downward facing dog. You can come up through hands and knees if you want to take it easy. You can try to push up through a push-up if you want more spice. Find that down dog and just breathe here. All right, start to kind of lift up in the center of your palm, kind of like your hands could be suction cups and you could just suck them up. Same thing in your arches. Could you suction your arches up a little bit in your feet? Try spinning your heels so that you can't see them anymore. Okay, they're hidden behind the front part of your foot. And pull those elbows in until you feel your neck get long. All right, yogis, here we go. Let's do the other side. So inhaling, let's get the left leg up and out behind. Keep the hips level. As you exhale, send that right knee forward. Sorry, that's a left knee. And see if you could drop that left foot between your hands. We're coming down to a low lunge. So drop the right knee. Use that left leg and press it up. So here we are back in a low lunge. Remember your options. Easy lunge on the floor with your hands. Okay, medium, you use the left leg for a prop. Spicy, arms up. No matter what you've chosen, no matter what flavor or variation, you are still engaging the legs against the floor and together. So always, just about any yoga posture, we're going to add that to the recipe. Engagement down and together. And we have the belly button lifting in toward the spine, so your low back is wrapped up. Okay, think of it being wrapped in muscle. And we can lift the heart. So we're building a twist now that we have our nice base. Arms are open wide and you're looking out to the left like you wanted to hug someone on the left side of your mat. And I'll spin around to face you here. Okay, broaden your wingspan, reach out through the left fingers, out through the right, lengthen your neck, make your big heart. And then you can stay here. You can take a break at any time. You can even put a hand on the floor. It's still a twisty lunge. Okay, or we can kind of dive in. We can take the left hand to look for the right thigh. You can just rest it on there. You can grab it. Okay, I like to grab it kind of like a handle. And then we're going to get the right arm up. So breathe here. A lot of sensation in the hips and the legs and the chest. So just be with all that. So we can keep this more of a side bend, more of a twisty feeling. We can also cultivate more of a chest and heart opening, back bend feeling. You decide. Okay, whatever you choose, make sure it feels good. There's no pain. Find some long, slow, smooth breath here. Building heat. If you feel heat building, just be with that sensation. When we build heat, we can release tension. One more big breath here in your low lunge. And exhale, drop your hands down under your shoulders. Boom. Boom. Pull back on that left hip here. Flex that left foot at the ankle. And let's do a windshield wiper movement with the left foot. Okay. Kind of rolling on the heel, pointing the toes side to side. Maybe come up on your fingertips. I like that to keep the spine long. Okay, and then pause with those toes pointed straight up. Really flex the ankle and start to dig down into the left heel and you pull back on the hips. So you're really diving into the back of the leg, okay? And breathe. Notice if one side is more tense or more open than the other. Chances are there will be a difference. And just gather that information for later. See if you could engage the quadriceps of the left leg. So try to draw the left kneecap up towards your hips and see if that allows you some extra release along the back of your leg. Okay, as you're ready, we're letting this go. We're going to put the left foot back on the floor, hands back on the floor under your shoulders. And coming up to a three-leg dog, tuck the right toes, hover the right knee, and lift the left leg up and out behind. Big breath in. High as you like. Okay, now pause here. Let's start to build a scorpion. So we're going to pull the right hip back. So make an extra effort to pull back on the right hip as you start to bend the left knee and shoot the left toes to the right. So it's super important we pull back on that right hip. And it's also super important that we drop into that left shoulder. So press into the left hand, level off your shoulders, and breathe here in scorpion. You're always welcome to drop the right knee and cultivate the same kind of vibe here, okay? Nice breath. Notice the back of that right leg, the inside of the left hip. Keep your waist long on all sides. Okay, one more big breath here, scorpions. And let it go. Drop that left foot. And you are back in a downward facing dog. So we'll take another little vinyasa. Feel free to come along for the ride or skip it and take a break. Inhaling here, find a plank. Exhaling here, hop it or step it softly to your hands and fold. Inhale to roll it up. Lift that heart. Okay, strong legs as you drop down into a chair squat. So drop your tailbone, lift your heart. See if you could try to hold a tennis ball between your knees here. Inhale back up to standing. And exhale as you fold. palms are down. Halfway up on your inhale. Really big fold on your exhale. Okay, palms are down here. Inhale and hop it or step it back to plank. And exhale, lower yourself down slowly. Inhale, a cobra. So pulling your heart forward, drop your tailbone down. And exhale, hands and knees to down dog. Breathing here. Let's take 5 or 6 long, slow breaths in down dog. The legs are warmer. Shoulders are warmer. Okay, this will be our last downward facing dog, and we'll bring the vibe way down after this. Notice the length in your spine, your heart rate, your breath rate, how warm you are. All right, so as you're ready, you're gonna come long ways on your mat so that you'll be facing sideways off one side of your mat. So just pick the one that makes sense, okay? Depending on where you're oriented in space right now. Step 1 foot forward and walk your hands over to the side of your spot. So you're in a wide leg forward fold. Okay, make sure your toes are turned slightly inward, just a little slight turn inward. And you can rock some weight out of your arches and put that extra weight in the outer edge of your foot. So we want to think of the arches being big enough that a little ant or a ladybug could sit under there and stay dry if it was raining. Maybe even spread your toes and pick them up so your feet are active. Hands under shoulders with your longest spine. And then we'll start to bend into one knee and bend to the other side. And just go side to side. We're just gonna feel this out. Not trying to go at any particular pace. Okay, as you bend into one knee, try to move your hips back and not just to the side. So the hips are always moving away from the top of your head. Just gently opening up some space in your hips and your inner thigh here, the backs of your legs. Okay, and then let's bring it back into center and hold it right here. Back into center. Take your feet maybe a little closer together. Okay, maybe a little further apart, but make some adjustments here because you're gonna walk your hands back between your feet, maybe even beyond where your feet are, and point your top of your head down at the ground. And just let it hang. Let your head really hang. So we're gonna take some breaths here. And I want you to take some time just to be here. All right, let your spine hang so long, and then do your best to move your shoulders away from the floor so your neck gets even longer. And if you notice that your head is touching the floor, take your feet a little closer and cultivate just enough space that your top of your head could hang about 1 inch off the floor with no tension in your neck. Keep your legs active, pushing it down through your heel bones, lifting your toes, lifting your arches. Okay, from here, you have a couple options. I'll just give you some things to explore. You might try taking your hands behind your back here, interlacing your fingers, and moving your hands away from you And then some of us are going to want to let the hands kind of fall out toward the floor, but keep the shoulders away from your ears, okay? Another thing you can play around with, okay, is a headstand. So this is a really good spot for you to put your hands on the floor about the same distance apart as your forearms would be. And you can just drop your head on the floor here. You might have to bend your knees a little bit. Okay. You can take your elbows pointed straight up at the sky. Maybe one of your knees rests on one of your elbows. Maybe the other knee rests. And for some of us, this is a nice place to just practice going up and down into this little shape, okay? So don't feel any pressure to do anything that doesn't feel good. But if it's okay for you and you can get that head down, you can get the knees onto the elbows, then you can start experimenting with one leg up, two legs up, okay? A headstand. And then you know, there's so many things you can play around with, moving your legs around into different shapes. I kind of want you to just have fun and be creative. Okay, so a few more breaths, wherever you are, whatever you decided to play with. And then as you are ready, come out, but don't explode. Just come out slowly, the way you came in. Just back yourself out really skillfully and intentionally. And you can start shimmying your feet toward each other. So shimmy the feet closer. Shimmy the feet closer. Until they're back together. And here, just put a really nice bend in your knees and hug your legs. Give them a hug. Think about tucking your forehead towards your shins and releasing any tension in the back of your neck. All right, friends, from here, uncurl yourself and bring your hands back to the floor. And I'll meet you on hands and knees. So you can just bring your knees down. Okay. And then if you can stand it, tuck your toes and sit on your heels, okay? For some of us, that's super uncomfortable. So don't feel like you have to do it. But if you can stand to, I'd say just do it as long as you can stand it, and then untuck when you can't stand it anymore. Because it's a really good stretch for your feet. And this is not something that we would normally do. So it's very useful when we have the opportunity and the feet are warm and the legs are warm. So I want to experiment with something called a lion's breath with you. And I think a lion's breath is great for relieving tension all around your face and your neck and your jaw. Really any kind of tension at all. And it's kind of silly. So I want you to just be playful with it and not take it too seriously. Okay, start out just by closing your eyes. And you can just rest your hands on your legs, okay, on your knees. Close your eyes down. And find your breath. Find the pace of your breath right now and start to deepen it. Okay, so a lion's breath is different in really one big way. So on the inhales, you'll breathe just like you always do. You'll just inhale through your nose, just like you are right now. But on your exhales, you'll open your mouth super wide, stick your tongue out as far as it can go, and roll your eyeballs to look up at the top of your head, okay? If you're wondering what that looks like and sounds like, it looks and sounds something like this. Okay, normal inhale. It's very silly, but let's try it a few times. Keep it going. Maybe try it 6 or 7 times, okay? Try to exhale completely. Think of exhaling everything in your body, your mind, your breath, your life that is not serving you. A couple more times, guys, just like this. Maybe 2 more. Make this last one the best one. Okay, so allow your breath to return to normal. Close your eyes down. Settle back into your normal breathing. Notice how you're feeling. And from here, friends, we're going to come all the way back down to the mat. So sit your hips off to one side. Oh, if you had your toes tucked the whole time, I kind of like to roll around the tops of the feet for a second. Oh. And then sitting your hips down, you can roll onto your back. So come on down. All the way down to your back. Okay, so grab your knees here. Let's do some hip circles with the knees. Noticing how your hips are feeling. Rewind your hip circles. Okay, and then stick your legs. Go ahead and pause your legs and stick them straight up in the air. So you can extend your knees, stick the legs up. And the legs don't have to be super, super active here, okay? If it's more comfortable for you to keep a bend in your knees, go ahead and keep a bend. Okay, activate those feet. Just extend as much as is comfortable. I want to experiment with a shoulder stand with you. So shoulder stand is super useful anytime we're feeling tension, okay? Great for headaches and really any kind of mood boosting that you may need. So even if shoulder stand is something that doesn't feel right for you today, maybe you don't want to lift your whole bottom end up off the floor. Maybe you just stop at one of the stops along the way, because just the steps along the way to shoulder stand are also very good to practice, okay? It's good for us to get an inversion in at least every day. Get the hips and your head up above your heart. So I'll walk you through it. And if you already do shoulder stand, maybe you're already there. Go ahead and get there if you don't need my steps. So I like to start by dropping your hands down by your hips, okay? You can bend your knees in towards your chest and just try rocking your hips up and down. Okay, hips come up, hips come down, knees come close to you, knees come away from you. And the whole time you're doing this, it's very important that you keep your nose pointed up and you don't start to look at your belly button, because that's going to collapse the back of your neck into the floor, which is not what we want. So go ahead and just listen to my words. You won't need to look at my picture, my body picture here, unless you absolutely need a visual. So I'll try to be very helpful with my words. So press into your hands. See if you could roll your hips up and balance your knees, kind of float your knees up above your forehead. And I like to keep the toes pointed up and of course the nose pointed up. And this is where you can stay and rock out at any time. If you're feeling pretty good, however, at this point, bring your hands to your low back. So one hand to each side of your low back. And then I want you to walk your hands up to your lowest ribs. See if you can get your elbows to start pressing against the floor, your shoulder blades to press against the floor. Even the back of your skull is pressing down. However, the back of your neck is still arching up and your nose is still pointed up. So this is your base. Your upper body is the base for this posture. Really pressing down into your strong base. You can start to point your knees up Okay, you can work on maybe just doing that right now. And then if that's feeling pretty good, you can reach your toes up and look at your toes. So breathing here, you can always take a break. Okay, try to move slowly in and slowly out. But I'd like to take a few more breaths here with you, receiving and enjoying the full benefits of this amazing posture. Activate those feet up there, take a look at them and spread the toes. Extend out through your legs, make your legs strong. And remember your strong upper body pushing down into the floor. Nice breath. Feel your belly inflate and deflate. Maybe 3 more long, slow breaths in your shoulder stand. Two more. Last one. When you're ready to come down, come out in the same way you came in. Bend your knees. Bring your knees back towards your forehead. And then you can release your hands back to the floor. And let's see if we can take a long time rolling out of this. I like to think of pointing my toes behind me, okay? And starting to roll down one vertebra at a time. See if you could take as long as possible to roll yourself down, using your fingers to control your descent. Each inhale brings length to your spine. Each exhale, a little more control here as you lower. All right, as your hips finally land, drop your feet. Relax your body. And it's time for us to rest. So go ahead and extend your legs. Find a resting posture here. Find that breath coming softly and slowly through your nose without effort. Notice the movements of your breath in your body. Allow your body to completely relax here and let go of all tension. Let your jaw hang open. Maybe even do some more jaw stretching if that's one of your goals today. Getting that jaw wide open. Love it. Feels so nice on a jaw. Notice this moment passing. Feel each second. And please keep resting just like this for as long as you can. This is where I'll leave you for our practice today. Thanks so much for joining me.